In a previous video, we completely gutted and began re-insulating our 2021 Intech Flyer Discover. Here is part 2, where we start putting it back together, and unfortunately I skipped a lot of filming of a lot of important things, so I'll try to catch you up as I see fit.
What we've done now is we have placed furring strips on the floor and screwed them to the floor.
Alright, so this is one of the most important things that I forgot to film. Not only do we have these furring strips on the floor of the trailer, but also on the frame rails on the walls and ceilings. On top of the furring strips, we also have insulation to break the thermal bridging.
And then insulated between them, and you can see we've placed a sheet of plywood and screwed them into the furring strips. This allows us to have some insulation on the floor. It's not as much. And you can see the insulation is just a hair taller than the flooring. We're having to place a lot of screws to accommodate for that, but it'll be just fine by the time we get done, because at the end of the day, we expect that the floor is not going to be perfect, but we're okay with that. So.
One thing I'd like to mention is that our original floor was in excellent shape, so we did leave the original OSB plywood flooring and then insulated on top of that.
This is going to be for our elevator bed. These are, you can actually see I didn't put the plate in. These are anchored in with a steel plate screwed to the frame of the trailer. And then we also use construction adhesive behind the plate.
Our goal with this build was not only to re-insulate, but also to give the inside of the RV the feel and look of a log cabin on the inside. We used these cedar shiplap boards that we got at Home Depot for the sides and ceiling of the trailer. Not only is it mold and insect resistant, but it looks and smells great too.
Rough laid out all of our wiring for everything, and now we're putting in our shiplap wall panels. These are screwed in through the insulation. This is 1-inch insulation on top of a furring strip, and these pieces of insulation we place backwards so that we could see where our studs are, and that allows us to screw these down, but it also allows for these things to flex. If we bump into them, these are really fragile, and we can adjust the kind of twist of them by being able to screw in tighter, because otherwise these things are a little bit funny to work with. So this insulation actually pushes them back to where they're fairly flush, and that's going to work out really well for us. And then we're just running our wires behind where we know they're going to go, so we have some wires that we know need to go here, and that's how that's going to work.
The cedar paneling install took a lot longer than we'd expected, so I dropped the ball on some of the routing of the wiring and other things as well, because we just really wanted to get it done and I was not focused on filming it. Some of our friends came and helped us install the cedar paneling, which made it go a lot faster.
There you go.
I accidentally filmed a lot of clips in portrait mode, so forgive me for that. Here we are framing the back door. We wanted to keep the trailer usable as a toy hauler, so we wanted the ramp door to continue to be, well, usable. So we framed out a wall in the back that opens up with a door once the ramp door is down. We used this galvanized steel roofing panel as a backsplash behind the wood stove. To be honest with you, we still have not found a solution for the AC cover, so stay tuned for that one. Once all the cedar paneling was installed, it was now time to frame in our benches. They just pulled in.
Help us mount.
Our goal is to build these 2 benches out so there is sitting space during the day underneath the bed that's going to be an elevator bed. The benches also act as storage. On one side is all of our water, and the other side is all of our electronics and batteries.
For mounting purposes.
Because we moved the location of our water tank, we actually had to move the filler on the outside of the trailer to the opposite side. It was about this time that it began to feel extremely overwhelming because we were running out of time and we had to move the trailer unfinished to go start our season as camp hosts. On the plus side, the benches are now built out and now we are framing our dressers.
Okay, so the trailer's not done, but we are moving. Currently I'm driving, hands-free of course. We had to push our moving day back a few days. We were supposed to move in on Monday, and now we're moving in on Thursday, which is today. And it really sucks, but Monday we simply just weren't ready. And yeah, we're still not ready. The trailer's, again, completely not done. It's barely livable. We're running a store at the same time as trying to work on it. And I think the biggest difference between this project and other projects that we've done that we've pushed timelines for is one, we can't stay up super late at night working and running power tools because of we're in a residential area. We don't really want to make our neighbors upset. And two, we're running a store during the day, so we don't close until 6, and so that's when we can have all hands on deck. And so between like 6 and 8 is like our prime working hours, which really sucks. The wiring is 50% done, plumbing's about 90% done. The sink isn't in, the cooktop's not in, the wood stove's not in. There are no appliances, so we actually left our fridge and freezer at the store, which are plugged in, so we keep our food cold that we have left in there. The trailer is going to stay with the trailer at our site and continue working on it and try to finish up all the wiring and get it to a point where maybe I can bring the refrigerator with me on my way home from work tonight.
And he was successful in getting the wood stove, the sink, and the wiring for the fridge and freezer installed. The next portion is cutting out a big hole for the Dometic stovetop. We tried to reuse as many appliances as we could from the previous build of the RV because RV appliances are expensive. Once the trailer got comfortable enough to live in, it became a little bit difficult to have the motivation to complete the build. We also had a lot of life happen in between, which slowed us down greatly. A lot of the build we had to get creative, like Taylor 3D printed these custom switch panels, and we reused a lot of things like these silverware racks above the sink. Something that still isn't done is our trim, because our original plan we decided just isn't going to work, so we haven't quite come up with a decent solution for the trim around the windows and the door. This video is from a few months ago, so there's a couple things we've added that I don't have in this clip, but we do have most of our stuff mounted to the walls because we prefer having things accessible rather than in drawers. Another really annoying thing is that these cheap Amazon LED light strips keep going out, so half of the front lighting is actually out right now and we still need to fix it. The counter is probably one of my favorite things in this whole build because I've always loved the look of butcher block countertops, so when we had the opportunity, we jumped on it. We had a ton of construction scrap, so Taylor built this little fold up or down countertop for extra prep space or light storage space. It can't hold very much, but it's really handy. We decided to go with real curtains rather than RV blinds, 1 for cost, 2 to keep it feeling more like a home rather than a trailer on the inside. I also made these little leather curtain ties to keep the rustic feel. One of the most recent changes is the addition of the elevator bed, which is awesome for conserving space. However, we still don't have the benches underneath the bed complete. I won't go too in-depth into a tour on this video because I actually just uploaded a fresh tour video the other day, so you can click on it right here. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel, like this video, it helps us out a lot. I will try to post more frequently now that I am done with my camp hosting obligations. So anyways, thanks for watching, we'll catch you next time.